Hello and welcome to another episode of Houston. We have a podcast. I'm here again for another review episode with Paulo. We have recently done our best of 2021, and we came out of that one with some recommendations of things that either of us had, like one of us had seen, the other one hadn't. And so on this episode, we are going to do a little bit of recap of each other's recommendations that we actually checked out. And then I guess the meat of the episode, we finally saw a movie which was high on our list of maybe would have been on our top of 2021 lists, Licorice Pizza, which we were finally able to see. Don't know how each other liked it because we just saw it recently, and we will discover on this podcast if it does indeed rise to the top of our best of 2021 lists or not. Yeah. So let's start with a recap of 2021 recommendations. There was a few movies that I had that you hadn't seen, and a couple that you had that I hadn't seen. And so we've both kind of watched some of those. And maybe let's start with Spencer, which is a movie that was high on my top. I think it was near the bottom of my top 10, but still on my top 10 that you hadn't
7.
watched. You had a chance to watch it. What did you think?
So I will preface my comments by saying I fell asleep. Okay, I recognize that this is not the type of movie that I would ever watch. My fiance loves this kind of stuff. Like she watches The Crown, and she's super into like all the Princess Diana stuff. Like her parents had a weird thing about Princess Diana as well. I think a lot of Filipinos do, actually, for some odd reason.
That's
I can't remember who
I've
told
never
me
heard that before.
No, I remember someone telling me like, or it's either my fiance or like multiple different friends who are Filipino have like told me that like there's a weird thing about Filipino people and Princess Diana. But anyways, sorry. The movie was from what I watched was cool. Kristen Stewart actually looked really like I think she actually did very well. And that's pretty much all I have. Like it was just not my thing at all. And I was not. It's not. I was not a fan.
Did your fiance enjoy it?
Yes, I think she was like, it was a little slow even for her taste. But I don't know. I was asleep for maybe like 40% of it.
There's probably a little bit of like expectation setting involved in that because I had a pretty good idea that's what it was going to be about, having watched the Jackie O movie that he did with Natalie Portman a few years ago, that same director. And so I was like, okay, I know what this is going to be basically. And so it's much more of just like an acting display. And I think she did a good job. It's funny. I was thinking back to the first episode we ever recorded where we debated Emma Watson versus Kristen Stewart. And if you told me that one of those two would have been playing Princess Diana and gotten Academy Award nomination 5 years later, probably wouldn't have guessed it was Kristen Stewart, but I will claim a second victory on that conversation for
You know what? I'm fine with that. Like, I'm not gonna. Emma Watson is very like mainstream. I feel like now. I mean, she doesn't act that much anymore, right?
No, and I don't know if that's by choice or not.
I think it probably is, but yeah. And Kristen Stewart, she's like her and what's his name, Robert Pattinson, just like both of them, just started acting, didn't they? Like after Twilight.
Yes, thank you, Twilight, for giving us these good actors and actresses, even though they didn't give any good performances for their first 7 movies.
Yeah, 7.
Wasn't there like 7 Twilight movies, or?
I don't know. No, wait. Oh, I thought you were talking about 7, like the 7 after Twilight, and then they started getting good.
No, I think they started getting good pretty soon after.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I mean, like Spencer, I don't know. She's just, she was good. I'm trying to like think of what else I could recommend to someone like me, and I mean, not a lot. If definitely like you have to know what you're getting to, like you said, and like that kind of stuff to enjoy it. I mean, there was some interesting stuff that I didn't know. Like she had, I think she was like bulimic. Princess Diana, not Kristen Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like represented in an interesting way with like the whole pearl thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that she was dealing with mental illness, and the whole like this whole Christmas party or Christmas holiday was a thing where it was like exacerbating her mental illness.
It did make me go back and kind of research more about her life, because I don't think I'd ever done a deep dive. Like obviously you know certain things about her just because of who she is, but it's like I know the movie wasn't intending to be 100% accurate. It was pulling different things from different parts of her life and kind of putting it in one place to try to tell kind of the spirit of her life at that time.
Oh.
But I don't think this was like a 100% factually correct story, which I'm totally okay with because it still makes a good character story.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I didn't think it was 100% like a true story either. I thought at the very least, or okay, so maybe I'm wrong, is the Christmas holiday tradition thing that happened, right? Like
I'm pretty sure that happened.
Okay. But just like all the elements of what happened over that holiday is just like combined from other things, like other stories.
Yeah, like I think it might have pulled from other things that like servants or whatever had like seen from her, or like conversation from, I think, with Prince Charles at one point. Like I feel like that maybe didn't actually happen at that weekend, but maybe it happened another point. I'm not a monarchy historian. I can't say what was true and what wasn't. I just know that I watched the story and it was a good story to me. Whether I feel the same way about The Social Network. Like I don't care whether it's true. It's a good movie.
Yeah, sure. I probably should have gotten my fiance to join the episode today. She could be our fact checker on this one at least.
Do you have anything else to say about Spencer?
No.
I'm surprised you said this much about Spencer. I'm surprised you even watched it. So,
well, like I said, it's never, like in a million years, I would never choose to watch it of my own volition. Like Faye and I have this thing where if we can't decide, each of us will pick 3 movies, and then we'll slowly remove one of them from each other's lists. And then we just happened to land with Spencer, which was obviously on her list. And actually, it turned out, this will come up later, but Titan was on my list for that time. And I am glad that her movie won. Because I cannot imagine watching Titan with her.
So maybe that's a good segue into, let's talk about Titan. I don't know how to pronounce it yet.
Oh, okay.
This is, I think, a movie that you can say much more about because there's a lot going on in that movie. Did your fiance watch it? And
no,
I am glad. I am glad that my recommendation did not result in her watching that movie. Even though I liked it, I would never recommend it to her.
Yeah. So it's like me recommending you that stupid Netflix movie with the baby dangling from the plane times like 1 million. Because I think I'm gonna have to award you with the most fucked up recommendation. Like, but I think hands down, this is the most fucked up movie I've ever watched in my entire life. I thought Old Boy used to have that title. Old Boy is Sesame Street compared to Titan.
Did you watch Raw, which was this director's previous movie?
I did not. I was considering it until I watched this movie. I'm probably not going to watch Raw. But yeah, so like going back to not having Faye around while watching this movie, she was actually on her way out the door while I was watching like the first bit, and the first bit is already insane. Um, and it's like uncomfortable. It's like when you're a kid, like watching a movie with your parents, and then, or like you're watching a movie and then your parents are in the other room, and then there's like a sex scene, and then all they just hear is moaning, so everything is like it's like that. But then also she was like walking by when she's like fucking the car and like getting her hair stuck in the other girl's nipple ring. They're so like why? I don't under so okay, let's rewind a little bit. I I'll explain a little bit about this movie as much as I can, and you're gonna have to jump in here because I don't understand why this movie. That's it. That's a sentence. I don't understand why this movie, and I don't understand what like is there supposed to be a story or like a meaning? I don't know. But basically, it's this little girl, or sorry, not it's a girl who gets into a car accident when she's a child, and then she has like a titanium plate in her head, and then I don't know if that's what makes her start acting weird, but like she goes through life as like a serial killer, and she loves metal, like she loves metal a lot, and yeah, she kills people, and then she goes on the run, and should I not no, I'm gonna
No, let's talk about spoilers because
okay, yeah.
either you've heard about this movie and you've watched it because it got a lot of rave reviews, or you do not want to watch this movie.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So then I'll tell everything about it. Yeah, she goes on the run. She pretends to be like a firefighter's runaway son, while she's pregnant with a car's baby, and then she gives birth and dies.
You're speeding past a lot of good stuff from this movie.
This is why I need you here.
So the first like half hour, 45 minutes of the movie, I would agree that it's kind of just a lot of fucked up scenes in a row that are kind of just demonstrating that she has problems. She does not belong. She has issues with her father. It kind of hints that maybe he was abusive in some way that caused her to be a certain way. Maybe it's because of the car accident. Maybe because it's the metal plate in her head. You don't really know. But a lot of the beginning is flavor of just like, here's some shit that's going on in her life. But the heart of the story is when she decides to, burn down her dad's house and go on the run from the law, where she decides, I'm going to pretend to be this guy's son who has run away. And obviously the audience knows that she doesn't really pass for a guy. The guy's, the guy whose son she's trying to be is like a fire chief. None of the people that are in his station think that he's, or that she's his son, because she's not like, doesn't really look that much like him. But what you learn is that this guy, in all likelihood, watched his son burn to death. And he is so traumatized that he can't come to terms with it, that he wants to believe anything. So he wants to believe, and he even hints at certain points that he knows she's not his son, but he's like gonna, fulfill this fantasy.
Yeah.
And so there's this kind of heartwarming story about the woman who's on the run from the law because she's got a shitty father, meeting up with a guy who has lost his son. And it's like they're finding each other in this world. And then, it goes on, and yes, eventually she does give birth to a car, or give birth to a robot. But the movie ends on her dying and him having a new robot son. So he doesn't have to live the fantasy anymore. He kind of gets back the son that he lost. And so in my mind, you could have told that story in a way that didn't have anything to do with fucking a car or having a titanium plate in your head or giving birth to a robot. Those are just flavor on top of what the real story is, which is like these two troubled people finding each other in life.
Yeah, you can look at it like that, I suppose. No, I mean, okay, I got the whole like he's going along with the delusion, or everyone's going along with the delusion because like he lost his son, and she is filling that void even though he knows she's nothing close to his son. But like what what how do you take that story, like this nice heartwarming thing, and then just take it in that direction? Like I just did not understand. I mean, creative, sure. Like I will not argue that, but why? Like what?
Why not? It adds more. It's like you could tell a wonderful story and then you could just make the characters be superheroes, and all of a sudden you've crossed genres and you've added more flavor to a story. And that's what I feel about this one. If it's like, if you're doing weird stuff just for the sake of weird stuff, you can only go so far with it. But if you have an actual heartwarming story, sometimes it's boring because you've seen a lot of those stories before. And so like you can just mishmash the two and they elevate each other. Exact same as her first movie, which is basically about, a young girl goes to university, discovers that she's a cannibal. Basically the same story as if like somebody going to university and discovering their sexuality, because like her parents in that movie are vegetarians, which is obviously very different from being a cannibal, which I think is symbolic of like people having deeply religious parents. And so it's like you could tell that same story just with like sexuality and religion, but instead it's like, let's have this woman eat people. And now it's just more fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's more fun. Yeah. I mean, I get that. Like, okay, let me clarify. When I say why, I don't mean like, why did you make this? I mean, like, why did you choose to, like, why do you pick the love of like metal and like the car thing? Like, I'm gonna try not to focus on the car fucking, because that's like the tiniest part of this movie. But like I can't even get this is still really fresh in my brain, and I cannot express what I've seen. Like why does someone decide to pick, like to show, like, why is that the flavor there?
Some people enjoy horror and gore and that type of thing, and it's just, it has an audience. It's a niche.
I guess. I mean, it's just so out there. Like I don't
and
know.
We haven't even talked about the chopstick abortion scene.
Oh my god, yeah. I put that out of my brain, actually. Or it was like her hairpin.
Yeah, that was the one part where I had to like look away from the screen for a little bit.
Yeah. So like Faye was at the door about to leave, and I'm like, I'm on the couch because the TV is like right next, like you can see the TV from the door. And I was telling her, don't look. She's like, what's happening? I was like, you don't want to know. Just leave and do what you got to do. Which is like, thankfully you can't see what she's doing, but you know.
Yeah.
And it's already like her hairpin things like have already been given this context of like how she uses them, because she kills like multiple people with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it was an experience for sure.
I think this movie, either those scenes are gonna do something for you or they're not. And if you're the type of person that likes to see weird stuff in movie and you like a little bit of horror and some cringe type stuff, it's like, yep, this movie is gonna scratch that itch for you. If you are squeamish and you don't like that thing, you are not gonna like this movie.
Okay, hold on, because I am not squeamish. Like I take pride in the fact that I like weird stuff. Maybe not as weird as, well, we like different types of weird stuff for sure, 100%. I mean, even in Titan aside, we like different types of weird stuff. I enjoy weird things. I enjoy some a certain level of gore and action horror stuff, sure. But this, I want to stress that anyone listening, this is like next level. I was not. Carson hinted at this, like how this is to me, and I was still not prepared for what I saw. I don't know if unless you've made it clear that you really, really like the most weird and disgusting shit. then I would not recommend this movie to you.
I will say I purposely phrased my review of it in that episode we recorded so as not to give away and to slightly recommend this movie, in hopes that somebody would go watch it unspoiled and have the reaction that you're currently having. So I feel good about how I recommended it.
You got exactly what you wanted. And like, I'm looking at the just one last question, I guess. On the post that you made on our Instagram for the top 10, why did you pick the picture of the fire chief guy?
For me, he was the heart of the movie. Also, I just searched for a high-res image for some movies. It would not have been... If I were to scour the movie and have access to any frame in the movie, it's probably not the one I would have chosen, but it was available in a Google search.
Okay. Actually, one last thing. I'm curious. I don't know how much you remember, like smaller details. And this is like one thing that, I mean, I don't know why I fixated on this, considering everything that happened in that movie. But there's the one point where they're like, she's on the beach with the girlfriend before she kills her,
mm-hmm.
and she's like trying to bite out her nipple piercing, and I don't know, maybe I'm just tripping out, but the girlfriend was wearing like that shirt that says I can't, like, don't give up or something like that. It's like a blue shirt. And then immediately after that scene, the main girl is wearing that shirt for like the next few days.
Why are you fixating on this?
I thought it was, I was just confused. Okay. I'm not explaining. You know what? It doesn't matter.
I think like how I would interpret that is like they're just trying to talk about how lack of a conscience she has, because it's like you can kill someone and not even try to hide it and openly wear her shirt.
No. Like, it's not after she killed her. It's like like an editing thing, I think, or like a continuity thing. Like, so they're on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
The girlfriend's wearing the shirt. They do their thing, and then she freaks out because she was like biting the piercing too much, and then she leaves. The girlfriend is still wearing that shirt. She leaves, and in the next scene, she's at home wearing the shirt that the girlfriend was wearing.
I did not pick up on this detail. Sure. Continuity error.
You know what? I think I was just trying to focus on other things while I was watching that movie. I don't know. I have nothing else to say.
Yeah, I would say I connected more with the second half of that movie. There's a lot of just random scenes in the beginning that are... the first half is not why I like that movie, is what I would say. I didn't dislike it, but I didn't really connect to it much.
Okay, well, I mean, that's good. Oh, the last thing, I did find one part really funny, and I don't know if it's supposed to be funny, but at the very end, when like the firefighters are having like this huge party, and then I'm assuming they still kind of think that she's a boy.
Yeah, I know what scene you're talking about, and I'm pretty sure while they know that she's not his son, I don't think they suspect that it's a girl.
Yeah, but then like they're having this huge rave in the fire hall, and then I think they're all drunk, and then they put her, thinking him or whatever, on top of like a fire truck, and then they're like cheering for him, like Adrian, and then she starts like sexy stripper dancing, and like while still pretend like in her I'm a boy clothes, like get up, and slowly they're all just like looking, and some of them are just like like the what's it called, the energy drop and like the confusion on all those like big manly guys' faces is just really funny to me.
Yeah, that feeling of what you felt about that scene is how I felt about most of the movie.
Really? I don't
we just
know.
have different tastes is all.
Yeah.
Speaking of different tastes, let's move on to our next movie, Werewolves Within.
This is gonna be complete opposite end of the spectrum.
Yes, this is a very different type of movie. I think it was like number 6 or 7 on your list.
I think it was 7.
It's a, I don't know if it's a Netflix movie, but it's like maybe straight to Netflix, basically. And I think you had done some intro of it, but I'll do another intro now. It's a movie version of the werewolf game, either board game or I guess video game, because it's a Ubisoft movie, I guess. Where there's a small group of people all in a small town, and it's like, which one is the werewolf? And then people slowly get picked off, and get killed. You don't know who it is until the very ending. I don't have a lot of negative to say about this, but I don't know why it's on your top 10.
You don't?
It's like a very, it's a movie. It's, if you want to watch a movie, it's like, yep, it's got actors and it's got a story and they're enjoyable, and yeah, that's it.
It's not anything special, which is why it was like on the lower half of my top 10. It's funny because other people who I recommended that movie to, who are not as who don't have as different tastes as me, and definitely not the same tastes as you, they were also like, yeah, it's fine. I think it really just comes down to personal preference. There was a little, like, a tiny hint of like British humor, like Shaun of the Dead type British humor, like just a tiny hint of that, which I really liked. And I think also the what's her, AT&T, or what was the commercial that she's in?
Yeah, she's the AT&T lady.
Oh, sorry, Rosa. Yeah. I just thought she was cute.
Did you know she was almost cast as Squirrel Girl in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
I did, because so when I look up like casts after I watch a movie, that came up when I was looking at her stuff. I actually would like to watch that.
Yeah, I'd be on board for a new Avengers Squirrel Girl and Koi Boy movie. For me, like, she was okay. The twist at the end was coming from a mile away, but for me, the one thing that was good in the movie, which I think alludes a little bit to like the British type humor that you were talking about, is the main guy. His whole thing is like, he's a nice guy. He's overly nice, and he's like way too polite. And for me, he played it at kind of the perfect level, because I think it would be very easy to go way over the top with like how nice he is and having things. But there's like, he was starting to discover the werewolf attacks, and he's going around town and he's like, heavens to Betsy. And it's like, he was saying it in a way where you could believe that this was a real person who was exactly that nice, and he doesn't want to swear. And so he has sayings like that. And like, for me, he carried the movie. In a movie like that, you need, because the whole thing is you have these small group of individuals that are trapped together. They did have the different personalities, but I feel like they didn't have the actors to bring out those characters. Like, you really need all those characters to be really nailed, and there was like none of them other than the main guy that I think really was appropriate for the role or did it well.
Yeah, because like when they don't have that, they kind of turn into caricatures.
Yeah,
and that was like one of the negatives that I will agree kind of took away, but like just a tiny bit. Other than that, and the guy, like what you said about the main guy, I think that's just like that's definitely his role. Like, if in the other movies that I've seen him in, I think he was like, Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. I don't know why that's one, but he's in that. I've seen it, and he's that same guy. Same with the Tomorrow War, which we've both seen. He's the same guy, basically.
I knew I had seen him in other things, but I forgot where.
Yeah, that's it's his shtick, basically. And this movie was like made, like this movie and character was like made for him to do that. Which, I mean, yeah, he's good at it. And then I think I keep saying that the main girl, the AT&T one, I keep saying that she's cute and that's it. But I feel like I should expound on that. I think that it was like a conscious decision to make her like cute because, well, twist, spoiler, she is the werewolf. And it's just like it's purposely done where she's like she's, what's the word? She's like
quirky
not seducing,
girl,
but like, well, yeah, she's quirky girl. She's like the unthreatening and like lovable. So she like let your guard down, and then she eats you because she's a werewolf type thing, combined with like the nice guy. That's the dynamic, I guess.
Yeah, she was too nice. Like, I feel like it was coming from a mile away because it's like, okay, of course there's going to be a twist, and there was no other character that was strong enough that it would be a twist for.
Yeah.
But again, like, this is not a movie that's aiming to win an Academy Award. It is what it is, and it does what it's supposed to do. If you want to go watch a horror comedy movie, sure, it's perfectly fine.
If you want to watch something safe and like non-threatening, and people don't get stabbed with chopsticks.
Yeah, if you just watch Titan and you want to get it off your mind, if you want to clean your brain, go watch Werewolves Within.
See, we have a nice flow going here. I like it. This is why we work.
All right, so that's our, I guess, sort of conclusion to the list that we already created for 2021. And now the longer review that we're going to do is the movie that, so when we had made those lists, we had kind of hinted, hey, there's a couple movies that we think could be on this list, but we just haven't seen yet because they haven't come out. Both of us mentioned Nightmare Alley and Licorice Pizza. We have now both seen those movies. I don't think we have a whole lot to say on Nightmare Alley other than it's probably not on either of our top 10s. I don't know if maybe it's near the bottom of yours or...
Nah.
But it was not really a whole lot to say about that one. We've also both watched Licorice Pizza. We know we have things to talk about, but I really don't know what you felt about this at all. So let's discuss it now. What did you feel about Licorice Pizza?
I think much like the Batman movie that I just watched yesterday, I think my expectations for some reason were a little too high. Maybe I'll chalk that up to a good trailer. But it was okay, and I don't understand why. Similar to Titan, I don't understand why it was made. Like, why choose to tell this story? Should I just? I'll just go into the plot a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's at the very most basic description. It is about a 16-year-old boy and like a 23-year-old girl, and it's a love story about...
It's worse than that. It's a 15-year-old boy and a 25-year-old woman.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, it's like the movie is shot well. Like everything looks nice. This nostalgia because it's like a period piece. Cool. It's funny at times. There's like interesting scenes, some interesting characters, but like just why do you decide to tell this story right now? Like I don't. That was my main like question mark watching it.
So question for you. This movie's directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. How many other recent Paul Thomas Anderson movies have you seen?
I'm pretty sure 0.
You've seen There Will Be Blood, presumably.
I've seen like half of it.
Yeah. So I say that because... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, just really quick. I was just going to say, like, I remember, so we were talking about this before, like when we were both like waiting to watch this movie. And I remember now, like, I haven't really seen... There Will Be Blood is like probably the most like familiarity I have with him. Other than that, it's like the Haim music videos that he's done, which is again like the main character, the female lead, is from that band, which I really like. But anyways, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, because after like There Will Be Blood, I think it was nominated for Oscars. It was probably the most like recognized of his movies, and since then he's just been, I almost want to say, just working on his craft in terms of filmmaking. And so the stuff he's producing, it's like, this is not a conventional story. You're not going through like your typical 3-story act. But probably, in my opinion, the most talented filmmaker working today. Why he chooses to use his craft on stories that are very meandering and not very straightforward, I don't know. But just in terms of like pure filmmaking, I think he's the best out there today. And it goes beyond just a movie looking nice. It's all of the little aspects that feed into that, like, to make a movie. And obviously I'm not trained in any type of like filmmaking or anything like that, but you're using sound and tone and camera styles and acting and timing and all these things to help tell a story. And I feel like while this story is maybe not much on its own, this is the best possible way that this story could have been told because it has a really good filmmaker at it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And so for me, I was watching it and I kind of feel the same way of like, why was this story being told? But it also feels like the first real movie I've watched in 2 years, because there's just, it's a different level. It's like watching a B movie and then going in to watch an MCU movie. It's just made better than everything else that's out there, even though the story is like, why? I agree with that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, and that's, I mean, it's pretty much what I'm trying to get at, just not as eloquently. Like with, and knowing even less about filmmaking. It just, I think meandering is a good description, because it's like, and I read something about how like it's supposed to be, I don't know if it's an homage, but like it's supposed to be nostalgic and like to the type of movie that was like, you're just kind of chilling with the group of friends and you're just, oh, we're gonna do this now, we're gonna sell some water beds, oh, this is cool, like let's chill with the kid and his 15-year-old friends all the time. Back in the day, and it's like, yeah, okay, sure. And that's like a really interesting thing that you brought up about like how he is a really good filmmaker. Like, I'll agree with that. Like I said, I think that is very well put together as a film. But then like, why, I don't know, it like just the morality of the story aside, like, why?
Yeah,
I'm getting stuck on.
What I like about it is, the morality question of it, like a 15-year-old in love with a 25-year-old, kind of a weird story that kind of presents you with a question of how do you feel about this? And that's like, I feel like good movies aren't just saying like, here is a story, you should feel like this about it. It's saying, here's a story, what do you think about it? Because
which it definitely did.
There's other versions of this story, like Lolita, where it's like an older guy and an underage girl, and you kind of know how you're supposed to feel about it. And then if you reverse the roles, it's like, is that less weird? Is it the same amount of weird? It makes you have to think about it. But so I like that they weren't too judgmental about it. They just kind of said like, hey, here it is, and we're going to present it, and then you decide for yourself. Which it's funny because it did make me think of another movie I watched this year called Red Rocket, which is similarly from a filmmaker who does very non-judgmental movies about characters that you should pass judgment on. The movie is about a 40-year-old ex-porn star who moves to a small town and tries to seduce a 17-year-old to go into the porn industry.
Oh, nice.
Which is that similar underage story, but told from a very different perspective. And so the fact that, first of all, not just like sleazy 40-year-old porn guy, but it's like, you do feel like they have a connection of some sort. Whether you feel like that's okay is another thing. But it was like, it's a legitimately interesting love story on its own of like a will they or won't they? And then at times like both of them kind of hurt the other. And, there's this back and forth. So it's like, okay, there's something there. But what you were saying about this being kind of a nostalgia thing, like it makes sense because in my mind, that's where the real story is here's what the 60s were like. And not from the perspective of like, let's look at the 60s through rose-colored glasses, but it really, in some ways, it almost feels like a defense of quote unquote woke culture today, because everyone's kind of saying we've gone too far. But then you look at a movie like this and it's like, oh, we were behind in the 60s. And it, like little things about like the guy who's married multiple Japanese women and can't speak Japanese, but like speaks to them in a racist accent. And then like the guys who kind of like hit on girls and slap them on the butt while they're working. And just like all these things about, oh, and then the one talent agent who's interviewing her and doesn't understand what Krav Maga is and like pronounces it as like Kung Fu Maga or something. And it's like, yeah, we were
a very Jewy nose. Like,
yeah, it's like we were very uncultured at that time and we've come a long way. So it is kind of being nostalgic about the 60s, but it's also saying like, hey, here's what the 60s was for one way or another. So it almost feels like the point of the movie is to go and look back at that point in time. And, oh, by the way, here's a love story to help us do that. But it's like, who cares about the love story? It's more about the setting.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know. I feel like that, I feel like that is not the intention, only because of what I've read. So going back to the whole, the restaurant owner with the Japanese wives, for context, like you said, he doesn't speak Japanese, they speak Japanese, and when he speaks to them, he uses like a hokey Japanese accent, like, whoa. Actually, it's what I do when I talk to Yoshi. But like, we have a thing, so it's okay. But so what I had read was like, I looked up this movie after I watched it, because again, why? But one of the first few things that had come up was like controversy over like, why do like that guy being racist, basically a racist Japanese accent. And it was like, people were saying, there was like some group, I guess, having to do with Japanese culture or whatever, saying, or Asian culture, saying like, you shouldn't have this character. And like, sure, he can be racist, like he can be a racist character, but no one in the scene like corrected him, or like he doesn't get any comeuppance or anything. He just does it and he gets away scot-free. And that was like the big complaint, which I thought like was weird. I mean, I'm personally not offended. I'm not Japanese, but it's like, you're portraying a racist character. Racists don't always get their just desserts.
And that's what I feel like the movie was doing, is they were saying like, hey, people were just okay with this back then. And they weren't like, they didn't try to make that character look cool. Like the audience is judging him, and the audience is intended to judge him. Yeah.
But then where it comes in with like the whole, with what you were saying about like defense of woke culture, is that I don't think that was his intention, because he had a really like a weird response to that controversy, like non-controversy. It was like, he said something like, I'm sorry if that's what you took from it, or like that's, or I'm sorry if the like what the spirit of the scene or the character like gave you, that's not what it was. Well, okay, so maybe it was, maybe it could have been, maybe he just didn't describe his intention. It still could have been that, but he just seemed very like nonchalant, and like, no, it's just nothing. It's like a nothing burger. It's just, he talks with a Japanese accent. That's it. And that was like the vibe I got from his response. So that's why I think, only because of that, I don't think that's necessarily what he was trying to do. But I don't know. What do I know?
Yeah, like I don't know. I don't know Paul Thomas Anderson personally. I don't know what he was aiming for. I don't think he was trying to just say nothing. Like the way that the whole film is made, and even previous movies that he's made, like he doesn't want to paint it exactly for you. He doesn't want you to say like, you're supposed to be sad in this scene, and then the next scene you're supposed like have a big applause thing at the top for the crowd to know what to do. Like you do have to have a little bit of your own brain going into that movie to figure out or figure out for yourself what you want to feel. But I don't feel like he was just doing it casually, like it was, or not just for comedy. Like,
yeah,
he knew that he was portraying that era in a certain light, and it wasn't one way or another, but it was specific in what he was trying to do.
I mean, I personally agree with that. I just like, I know I'm looking at what other people were saying about it, and like, even with the whole like weird relationship thing, like on the Instagram comments for like the trailer of the movie, there's like, before I had watched the movie, I saw someone, like, people were posting, this is about a basically what we said, like 25-year-old girl falling in love with a 15-year-old boy. Don't watch it. And it's like, okay, that doesn't make, sure, it's bad. I mean, like that in itself, not good. But like, we watch movies about Nazis and like serial killers and murderers,
cars and killing people.
People fucking. Yeah, it's not, I don't think the movie is not glorifying that, like the relationship. I mean, even though in watching it, I was like not wanting them to end up together, and then they, spoiler alert again, they do anyway. But it's telling that story, but it's not necessarily, like you said, it's not saying that this is good. It's just, this is what happened. Like, what do you think?
Yeah, it is. It's interesting. I legitimately don't know how he feels about the whole like 25-year-old and 15-year-old. Like, you can't. I can tell how he feels about other things of the era and other characters and about certain things, but like that, I was expecting there to be a point in the movie where they're like, "This is not okay," and then it never did.
And we could be completely wrong too. Maybe he very well is like, this is awesome. Like, more 25-year-olds with 15-year-olds. This, like, let's normalize this. We don't know, but I don't think, I mean, I hope not.
I do want to point out for audiences that Cooper Hoffman, who was playing the 15-year-old boy, is 19 years old.
Is he?
He is 19 now. He was probably 18 when it was shooting.
Okay, because I looked it up too, and I thought he was like around the same age as what he was supposed to be in the movie, and Alana Haim, who is the female lead, is like 30.
Yeah, I know she's like 30, but they haven't been shooting this movie for 5 years. People didn't even know what it was about at the beginning of last year, and there were started to be like set pictures at like the end of last year. So he wasn't 15 when this was shot.
Okay.
I do also, on that note, want to point out that the two leads give great performances.
Sorry, we should talk about.
Like, I don't know. Like, I think you know more about this Haim sister than I do, but I think this was her first movie. She did a great job. Cooper Hoffman, this is also his first role, and son of Philip Seymour Hoffman, so he has kind of acting in his genes. But he did a phenomenal job in his first role. Even the kind of cameo appearances by Bradley Cooper and Sean Penn and other people, like all the characters, in contrast to Werewolves Within, just absolutely nail their role.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Actually, the one complaint, is that Bradley Cooper, Bradley Cooper, like he's introduced as kind of like a villain near the end of the movie, and I was thinking like, oh, okay, like they're fucking up his house, they're gonna have to deal with this now, like they're gonna have to come together to deal with Bradley Cooper because he's gonna try and fucking kill them, and then he just never comes back.
And again, having watched a few Paul Thomas Anderson movies, I kind of knew that they were bringing in these cameos as, here's a little subplot, but they're not the focus of the story.
Yeah, I mean that, like, not knowing of anything about his movies, I didn't know that it was gonna be like that. Even like Maya Rudolph from SNL, she's in like, you can see her face on the screen for like 3 seconds in one scene, and that's it. So yeah, that's good to know now that that's what he does. But I was like waiting for them to come back. The Japanese accent guy came back more than either of them. But yeah, sorry, going back to like I went off on a weird tangent. Yeah, Cooper Hoffman, who I didn't know was related to Philip Seymour Hoffman. Yeah, him and Alana Haim both did really good. This is her first role in a movie, and I mean that's all she's said in like every interview, like when she's making the rounds with like Jimmy Kimmel and all those guys, like the late night shows. Yeah, she like she's been in music videos, but I mean, and clearly performed before, but doesn't always translate. But for her, I also think she did a really good job. I think even better than what's his name, the kid.
Yeah,
actually.
in many ways, she's the main character of the movie.
Yeah.
Her comedic timing is great.
Yeah. There's the part where the first time she fights her with her family, like she brings home that the other actor, and then who are again actually her real family, like parents as well. I didn't know that was where.
I was wondering if that was the case, but that's good.
Yeah, it's so I knew it was her sisters for sure, for real because it's the band. But her parents, like I found out later that they are actually her parents. So her real family plays her family in the movie. And anyways, they get into a fight, and then like her older sister or eldest sister is like kind of the chill stoner of the family. And then they're like sitting outside, and after the fight, and her stone sister is like, "You shouldn't fight with it," or something like, "You shouldn't fight so much." She's like, "Oh."
That was exactly the scene I was referring to when I said she had great timing.
Yeah.
Part of me wonders whether she'll get into more acting, but I would also say that there's a lot of pretty good actors and actresses out there that have given their best performance in a Paul Thomas Anderson movie. I would say Tom Cruise's best role came in Magnolia, which was an early Paul Thomas Anderson movie. Philip Seymour Hoffman did some of his best roles. Joaquin Phoenix did some of his best roles. So it's like, this guy is a great filmmaker and he gets the most out of his actors. Just because those two gave great performances doesn't necessarily mean, like, I hope that they continue to make movies with Paul Thomas Anderson because I think there's a good fit. And, you know, Philip Seymour Hoffman was in a lot of movies with Paul Thomas Anderson. So the fact that like his son is kind of carrying on, like, warm feelings in my heart to see Cooper Hoffman, you know, kind of taking off after his dad. So I hope that continues. But I wouldn't necessarily say that just because of a great performance in this one doesn't mean that they're going to be great actors from now on.
Yeah, for sure. And first of all, shout out to Philip Seymour Hoffman, wherever you are. Yeah, like on that note, especially for Alana Haim, I think this is like she was kind of playing herself, not to take away from her performance because again she did really well, but like I'm kind of agreeing with you in that I don't know if she acts again, I don't know if she has like any sort of range, like if she could be a different character. And yeah, maybe it is because of Paul Thomas Anderson. Who am I mixing him up with?
Wes Anderson?
No. The Resident Evil one.
Oh, Paul W.S. Anderson. Different directors.
Imagine. He goes from Resident Evil series to Licorice Pizza. Sorry.
On the topic of Philip Seymour Hoffman, I would just like to use this opportunity to state that I still believe that Scientology set him up and killed him because of making fun of him in the movie The Master, which is a Paul Thomas Anderson movie that was a critique of Scientology with Joaquin Phoenix and Philip Seymour Hoffman. And then Philip Seymour Hoffman mysteriously dies of a drug overdose, which discredits his name soon thereafter. I will start the conspiracy theory that Scientology killed him.
Whoa. Should we have Colin and call him back on the podcast? I did not know any of that. I will not vocalize my support for your conspiracy theory because I don't want to die.
Scientology is going to come after us now.
Yeah, because we have such a huge platform. Yeah, Licorice Pizza.
So where would it have made your top 10? And if so, where on your list would it have been?
I don't know if I would have put it over Werewolves Within. I did enjoy Werewolves Within much more. Like looking back at my list, it was more. I remember it more than Judas and the Black Messiah, for example, which was like 10th on my list. But I still don't think I enjoyed it more, which is a weird thing to say about Judas and the Black Messiah. Not a story that you would really enjoy. No, probably 11. It would probably be 11 on my list. And Titan would be like 50.
Werewolves Within was actually number 46 when I went back and looked at my list.
Oh, yeah?
Hard to know where I would put it on my list because my number one movie was Justice League, and that's very hard to compare. But my number two was Green Knight, and I would say those are easier movies to compare, Green Knight and Licorice Pizza, and I would say I liked Licorice Pizza more. So, don't know if I would put it number one. In my opinion, definitely the best made movie this year. Whereas, like, I don't think Justice League is the best made movie, it's just the one that I personally enjoyed. So, number two. I guess I'd still put it at number two. Still holding Justice League at number one.
Wow. Well, I'm not surprised.
I probably need to go back and watch Justice League. I probably remember it better than it actually is.
Yeah.
But it is a 4-hour rewatch, so.
Yeah, I was thinking, that's exactly what was going through my brain. I was thinking, like, should I watch it again too? But then, like, Batman already was 3 fucking hours, and it felt like 3 hours.
Did you know that there's a black and white version of the Snyder Cut?
I think you told me about this. It's literally the same movie, but black and white, right?
Yes. And I like black and white, so I will one day watch that.
Oh, God.
But not anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't think you have the time.
All right. Let's end the episode off there. We will be back in a few weeks with our thoughts on the Academy Awards and some other goofy stuff that we are probably going to do for that. So thanks for tuning in, and we will see you all then.